This is an overview of the UEI amp clamp-on meter that we would use at building automation at Howard High School. This is the DL389. So we would use two different meters. We would use either a DL389 or we would use the DL479. They have some very big differences, so when you actually look at them. So this meter here uses a slightly same size screen, maybe a little larger. However, it has an off, voltage, ohms or resistance, continuity and diode, microfarad, which is capacitance, UA, which is how we read our flame signal, microamp, DC, and then we have temperature in Fahrenheit or Celsius. So if we turn this meter on, we'll actually see, and down the bottom, you actually see some other ports for, it has an independent port for temperature here, and then this is where our leads go, and we have a select, and it will tell you hertz as well. So if we turn the unit on, we're going to instantly see something different on this meter compared to the other meter we would use in building automation. One is it has a number at the top and a number at the bottom. You'll also see on it that on the scale you don't see amperage anywhere on there for us to read it. However, this is a amp clamp meter. So what this is doing is the top number is always reading amperage. Your bottom number is going to read whatever it's set to. So right now we have it set to voltage, and you could see over here where it says V, so that's down the bottom, and A would be up top. So if we were to clamp onto something using the clamp, it would tell us amperage if a load had resistance on the other end and voltage going through it, and it was generating amperage. So we would use probes, plug in here, so we would check our voltage. We can plug in probes right now to it, one in the red, one in the black, and this is how we're going to check for voltage. Okay, you'll see the numbers down the bottom change every now and then, but that's okay. It's not sensing any voltage when it's just sitting here in the air. Next, ohms. This is going to tell us resistance. So if we take the meter and under resistance we put the two probes together, we should have basically zero. It means zero resistance between the two because we're completing a circuit. We turn to this one right here. So this is going to be either a diode test, which we're really not going to ever do a diode test. However, we will do continuity quite often. The continuity on this meter would be switch it and switch it to continuity, hold the two probes, and you will hear a tone from the machine. So next, if we turn to microfarads, which is capacitance here, if we were to check a capacitor, we would start getting a reading down the bottom. Again, you could check amperage and capacitance, you could check amperage in anything with this meter as long as the amp clamp is through a wire that is from a load getting voltage and showing amperage. This terminal here, UA, is going to UADC. That's going to be our microamp signal for our flame sensor. And then we have temperature here. So temperature on this machine is a little different than the other machine we have in automation. There is no independent sensor that plugs in, meaning like it doesn't take precedence over the two ports like this plug here does. What you'll actually find is this machine has a little temperature K-couple adapter right here. So what happens is you see this button here, you can't push it down to open up these holes. So you have to take your leads out, and once your leads are out, then you can switch it down, which blocks both probes, so you can't insert your probes in there, put voltage through it, and send power through this K-couple. So now if we plug it in, we're instantly reading 75 degrees down here at the moment. So, and that is the brief overview of this DL389 DL389 meter. It's a good meter. The meter we'll use in automation as well as a DL479. The only other big difference in this meter compared to the other meter is the actual top. This headpiece actually pops off. So if you hold it and you pull, it'll pop off. So I don't advise doing this ever because there's no true reason why. This takes other heads that tell us other measurements from other manufacturers. So always keep this head on. No reason to have it apart unless your instructor tells you to.